Going on, guys? Doing another flashlight review for you today. Today we're looking at the Thrunite Archer 2A. Just did a review before this one on the Thrunite Archer 1C. They both work in a very similar fashion. They're very similarly designed. The only difference really is the battery style. This one works on two AA batteries. Very simple. You can use alkaline batteries. You can use the lithiums, a little more expensive, but they will last a little bit longer in the runtimes, and you will actually get a little bit of a, more lumens out of it. Can't specify exactly how much, but I've experienced that with most AA flashlights. Some of them don't recommend that, so really look into it, more detailed stuff. If you go to candlepowerforums.com, those guys and girls over there can tell you everything you'd ever want to know about any flashlight ever. An amazing forum. But anyway, most of the time when I do reviews on AA style flashlights, I always use alkalines. Very common, Energizer. I'll use different types of store-bought stuff as well. Cheap dollar store batteries sometimes. I want to show basically what it's going to be like for the common person. Not everyone's going to go out and buy the lithium AA's, but they're definitely worth it. As far as rechargeables are concerned, whole different realm. I don't want to give you guys any advice on that specifically. You can go to Candle Power Forums to get more information about that, because certain lights it works and other lights it doesn't. So I don't want you to have any problems with that. Best off sticking with just regular old alkaline batteries though. So yeah, the benefit to this one is that it's a very common battery. AA batteries can be found pretty much everywhere. Go to the grocery store, go to the hardware store, you can pick them up at the gas station. They're everywhere and they're relatively cheap. This one takes two, so it has a larger form factor. It's a longer flashlight. I'm gonna measure it for you here. And I'm gonna actually, before I do that, here's the 1C. And I just wanna show these side by side so you can see the difference. All right. Obviously the 1C is a lot smaller and you do get more lumens, but besides that, it's just a toss up. And I've said this before, lithium, CR123 batteries, flashlights compared to AA flashlights. AA's can never ever, perform the same way. They're just not enough power source for that flashlight. They're also usually bigger. But anyway, so there's the difference in size between the two. But like I said, you can see by design, they're pretty much identical. Where the knurling is on the head, the tail cap, and the body, everything's very similar. But anyway, so the measurement on this is just over, it's like 6 1/4 inches. So the diameter is a little less than an inch. Still very slim line in comparison with the 1C. All right. Using the same LED as well. Get you a shot in there. And I'll do it like I did with the other review. Just kind of, here we go. Well, actually, let me wipe off that glass. There's some crap on there. Let this focus for a second, so I can show you the business end. So I point into the muzzle of the flashlight. So there we're looking at our LED, same as the other one in the Archer series. This is the Cree XP G2. Very commonly used right now. There are better LEDs out there. They will cost more money. And but what's cool and stinks at the same time with flashlights is you can never ever catch up. And what I mean by that is if you're into flashlights as a hobby and not just, okay, I need a good tool, you want the latest and the greatest. But I haven't seen any other industry, like guns, gear, knives, there's nothing else that's harder to get the latest and the greatest than flashlights. It seems like almost weekly there's a new LED. There's a more powerful flashlight for the money. You paid 50 bucks for a flashlight and it's throwing out 200 lumens on, let's say a CR123 or something, next month. Same price for another flashlight that gives you double that. It's crazy. It's hard to keep up. It's kind of like getting electronics. You buy that brand new flat screen LED TV, and then all of a sudden it's 200 bucks cheaper next month. It's like, what the heck. But at the end of the day, it's still an awesome flashlight. Even the flashlights of last year and the year before, they still put out a lot of light. It's just right now, everything progresses so fast in this industry. It's really cool and sucks at the same time. But what's cool about it is if, let's say, that $100 flashlight you wanted last year, now all of a sudden no one cares about that. You can get it super cheap if they even make it anymore. But anyway, the Cree XP G2 running on two alkaline AA batteries puts out enough light for anyone. 272 lumens on high. Same functions as the Archer 1C. Basically, we have a clicky switch on the back, pushing in a little bit for momentary on, you let go. All right, it'll stay on as long as your finger's on there. And then you can, of course, click it for constant on. To change the modes, you have to twist the head. Now, the one, not necessarily a problem, but the one issue I have with this one is that sometimes I would just grab the tail cap. If you just grab the head and tail cap, it's not necessarily going to change those modes because the body's spinning freely. All right, so I would have to kind of get a good grip on that, make sure I have the body to change the modes. With this one being larger the way it is, you're probably not going to grab it like that. You're going to grab it like this, so you do end up having that body, and you can transition between the different modes. So the very lowest light mode, firefly mode, nighttime mode, whatever, different companies call it different things. I believe Thrunite calls it a firefly mode. That is 0.2 lumens, and that will run for 678 hours. All right, and those are on alkaline AA's. All right, twist the head, turns up to our low mode, which is 24 lumens for 22 hours. Twist it again. Now we're on medium, 90 lumens for 5 hours. And honestly, this is a pretty good setting. 90 lumens is a lot of light, and you get 5 hours of runtime on AA batteries. That's really, really good. Of course, if you want all the light that it's capable of, twist it one more time, and it jumps up to 272 lumens, but then it drops your runtime to 75 minutes from 5 hours. So sometimes, you know, we're into these flashlights and we want to get the biggest and the brightest ones, but, you know, with all that power and all that extra light comes a lower runtime. I've talked about this before. Flashlights, it's kind of like you want a small light, you know, the smaller the better for, obviously, for carrying it. You don't want something super heavy or super bulky, right? So you want something super small, you want something that's extremely bright, and you want something that runs on cheap batteries. Well, you can never have it all. It's usually two of the three, you know? In this case, you get something that's really bright, you know, but it's not that small. You go with something that's smaller, it's even brighter, but you don't get much of a runtime, you know what I mean? Or at least not in comparison to the other ones. So you can never really win all three of those categories. But I have to say, for the price that they're charging for these, this is 26 bucks. It is $3 more than the 1C. I guess literally more aluminum. I don't know. It's pretty much the same exact materials and everything else. It's just larger light. But 272 lumens is a lot. I would personally, if you're using this for EDC purposes, which is pretty much what the light's for, it's a good EDC light if you can carry one of this length. But I would recommend going with the medium mode of 90 lumens for 5 hours runtime, as opposed to the full 272 lumens for 75 minutes. That's just me. Turn one more time, and we'll be in strobe. Strobe is a faster paced strobe, and that's again the same, you know, maximum output of 272 lumens, but you get 2.5 hours of time because it's not constantly on. I like, this is a simple UI, you know, a user interface. It's very simple to do. The only thing that I don't like about this particular style of flashlight, and this goes for any company that does this with the twisting of the head, is that let's say you're on, you know, I'm on medium, I want to go back to low, I have to cycle through. Okay. Not a huge deal, but what I guess the benefit or the bonus of having something like this is it is very, very simple to use. You don't have to be into flashlights. You don't have to twist this, poke that, you know, hit the button 5 times. It's super easy for anyone to get the hang of. All right, so I think that this is an awesome option for the common person. If you're going to buy someone, you know, a nice flashlight, you have a neighbor, a family member, maybe it's your son or daughter, maybe it's your mom or dad, your sister, your brother, your in-laws, cousins, whatever. You're into flashlights, you're into being prepared, you're into gear, you want to hook them up with something, this is a good option. There's a lot of great options out there for common people, but this is another option out there. It's using AA batteries, which is easy to find. It's not super small where they're going to lose it. For some reason, I've given small flashlights to people, and I don't know where I put it, you know. So I guess that's the only real advantage of it being bigger. It can double as an impact weapon. That's one thing that I was talking about, because both of these have the crenulated bezels on here. You know, and I always look for flashlights like this, not necessarily for striking purposes, but just so that, you know, if the light's on the table, I can see that, take note of it. But I mentioned this one, you know, it's too small for strike. I mean, I suppose you could strike with it, but it's barely sticking out of my hand. No problem with this though. You get a good grip on this, you know, you could hit with either end, and because the body extends out in the tail cap, this is exposed. You're not gonna hit him with a soft rubber button. You're gonna hit him with the corner of this, you know, aluminum. So either end, you know, you could use this as like a Kubotan style weapon. All right, so if you know a little bit about pressure points or study any kind of the defensive techniques, you can certainly do that, get into different pinch grips and really just it's an actual defensive option besides, you know, the obvious try to blind him with the light. So that's another advantage to its size, but it's 6 to 1, half dozen the other. Some people like them bigger for those reasons. Some people hate them bigger because they can't carry it in their pocket. What you did notice or might have noticed looking at the two of these is this does have the pocket clip. The 1C does not. It is small, goes in the pocket, but some people still prefer the clip. That did not come with the clip. The 2A does come with a pocket clip, and I like this style. There's a lot of flashlights where the clip just kind of slides over the body and snaps into place. There's nothing wrong with that, but this is definitely superior. All right. First of all, let's look at the batteries I'm running. Got some Rayovac, cheap. These were dollar store ones, probably way past their due date, but they work fine. You give me plenty of light. But what I wanted to show here is this ring design. Not the only company that does this, but it's certainly a superior design to keep that pocket clip on. Okay, so that ring actually goes over where the pocket clip is. All right, see the design here? So it rests over the flashlight. Only goes in one way, and this ring screws down over top of it. This will not pop off. I've never personally had any problems with pocket clips popping off flashlights because I rarely use them. I like putting my flashlights directly in my pocket. If anything, before I use a clip, I'll probably end up using one of the holsters or sheaths. All right, but if you do use the clip, it's a nice insurance that it's not going to come off no matter what. But you can easily remove it if need be. These also have the reverse polarity protection. Not that big of a deal with AA's, but if you have to put them in the wrong way, they are not going to break the flashlight or damage the batteries. Just an awesome flashlight. Super simple, very straightforward. As far as what you get with it, just like the other Archer, the 1C. All your information's on the box too, in case people don't know it off the top of their head. They can just look at the box. Okay, get the nice sheath for it. These are good quality. If you're going to use these, if you're someone who does use their flashlight, on their belt or something, or maybe you want to attach it to your bag. Throw a carabiner on the end of this, attach it to one of your pieces of gear. We all have different types of bags and all kinds of crap like that. You may not want to carry a flashlight on your person if you have too much stuff on you, but if you have like a day bag or something, or a bob bag that's always close by or on your person, clip it to that. Also some spare O-rings. In my other review, if you didn't see it yet, the one where I did the Archer 1C, I did bust an O-ring for the first time ever on a flashlight. By basically the ring slipped over the threads, and when I tried to thread it, it cut the O-ring. So these spare O-rings do come in handy. And then the paperwork, and I mentioned this in the other review, Thrunite, as well as a lot of flashlight companies out there, they're giving us good paperwork. Like I get paperwork for a knife, it sucks. It doesn't tell me anything most of the time, it's just a warranty thing, whatever. I love that flashlight companies can do this. This gives you, look at all these different points of information about this. I'll just scan through. You guys can pause if you want. That's all about this flashlight. All right, some of the stuff I knew, some of the stuff I didn't know. Some of the stuff is great for referencing. Very simple, shows you how the batteries go in. Paperwork is awesome. All right, so I've said in the other video, but knife companies and other gear companies, they can take a note out of the book from flashlight people, because they definitely want you to know what their product's all about, and they want to sell it to you. They're a company, it's what they're doing, but they're selling it in a great way. They give you a good product and tell you all about it in the paperwork. I don't want to look at warranty information. I'm never really concerned with that. If I buy a product and it breaks or something, I'll give the company a call and see what they can do, and sometimes they can help me, sometimes they can't, but I don't need to read that on a piece of paper. I'd rather much more know about the specifications of the product I just bought, as well as how to use it. And most flashlight companies, for their paperwork, if you have a really confusing UI where you have to, click this and 5 times for this mode and all that stuff, a lot of times they'll show some kind of a cycle picture or diagram. It's a visual aid for you to better understand and learn how to use that flashlight. And some flashlights could be super confusing. And although there's some awesome flashlights out there that are super confusing, for a common person's flashlight, like I said, if you're getting one for a family member that's not into the whole gear scene and all the, world's gonna end crap, and they just need a flashlight to see some stuff in the dark, this is the type of flashlight you want to get them, something that's a little bit easier to use. But anyway, that's pretty much it. As far as the, comparing these directly to each other, you know what, one more thing before I go, because I did it in the other review. I will weigh this for you with the batteries in here. These are brand new batteries. All right, I want to give you the weight with the batteries in. I mentioned this in the other review, but I don't know why you'd want to know how much it weighs without the batteries. So there you go, 4.32 ounces. All right, so it's longer, it's heavier, it's bigger. Which one do you get? Well, it just depends on what you're using a flashlight for. They're both awesome EDC flashlights. The advantage of this one, obviously, it's smaller, it's more powerful, that's great, but not everyone wants to pay a lot of money for those batteries. I mentioned you can get CR123s online fairly cheap. Some people don't like that. Some people want to be able to go to their store and buy batteries for their flashlight. They don't want to have to order them online. I totally understand that. All right, more of a traditional, common person, maybe not so much into gear, but wants a good EDC flashlight, gear person's flashlight. You can appreciate the slightly more light because it's only slightly different. It's not that big of a deal as far as the lumens, but you appreciate its smaller size because you probably have lots of other gear on you as well. So, like I said, 6 to 1, half dozen the other. They're both awesome. They're both, you know, pretty much the same light with different battery styles. So that's it. That's the Thrunite Archer 2A. Very cool. I mentioned the other review, but this also has a removable bezel. I'm only mentioning this because I'm assuming most people saw this video and likes flashlights will probably see this one too, but just in case you don't, or if you see it in reverse order, this bezel is removable in case you didn't want it in there. I'd like to see Thrunite or another company come out with replaceable filters for these. All right, so you can just screw it right on there. But anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.